let's discuss the inherent problem with the Federal Reserve and just central banking and fiat currency in a way. So the way that our dollar used to be originally pegged to gold, and that's no longer the case. So we can print an infinite amount of money, which pretty much has happened the past couple years. So this is the general issue. First of all, governments always have in general, not just people, governments are composed of people, and people generally, it's hard to self-limit yourself without barriers. So if you have the ability to print an infinite amount of money, that's probably what's going to happen. It's almost like if I had a button that I pressed and I get $100 every time, I'm probably going to break that button, right? So how does this come into context of individual people? So even if we achieve the target inflation of the Federal Reserve, which is about 2 to 3% a year, that's the target. And people argue that it's CPI is undershot, so it's actually more. What happens? Basically, what that means is that in order to stay at pace, right, and not go backwards, that means your wage growth has to really be increasing by the same amount. Now, how many people actually have wage growth on average of 2 to 3% a year? Not that many. A lot of folks, unless they're getting promoted extremely fast, their wage growth is not going to be growing that fast on a consistent year-over-year basis unless they have some kind of COLA adjustment. So who does that benefit? It's going to benefit individuals that can borrow money for cheap, right? So big institutions that can borrow money for pennies on the dollar, they can borrow money at, let's say, when rates are low at something like 3-4%, and they can re-lend that money at higher rates like 6-8%, or even invest it in the market that's going to earn an average of close to 10. So what's going to happen is it's going to create naturally, through no fault of anyone specifically, it's going to create a bigger divide between folks that are earn money via wages and folks that invest the money, because the wage earners are just not going to be able to catch up. And eventually, the currency is just going to get super inflated, and they're either going to have to create a new currency. And on top of that, by creating wealth inequality, what's happening is you're also creating potential political divides. So inherently, it kind of leads to the same process. That's kind of the idea why we originally had the dollar pegged to gold up until Nixon, because other countries wanted to show that, hey, do we have any limits on how much dollars we can print? In the past, we did. Now we don't. So inherently, people are a little bit worried about that. And on top of that, it's sort of like a moral hazard that you just can't avoid. Just naturally, the way human beings are, if we have the ability to print more money, that's what we're going to do. And on top of that, just for individual people that rely on wages, unless their wages are growing at the real rate of inflation, right? So it's just probably going to be a little bit higher than the CPI or more. It just inevitably certain folks are going to fall behind. So I thought that's the inherent problem. No matter what you do, you can't really fix it. So hope that makes sense. And one last thing I was going to say, the idea is that, unless we have technological innovation that makes people's standard of living higher, unless that continues at a pace, people are just going to fall behind. So that's really the only thing saving is by technology becoming more innovative, and then that kind of benefits everyone. So hope that makes sense conceptually. Please like and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your day.